All right, well, hello. It is Wednesday, May 28th, 2014. Julie, Toby, and I are here talking about EdCamp Northwest Oklahoma. So we're just going to kind of chat about what's been done, what needs to be done, and what we can do to help make it successful. So Toby introduced himself as, you should be Mr. EdCamp Oklahoma. I think that's his official title.
Do I get a sash?
Yeah, I think you get a sash and a crown and whatever else you want.
I'd like a scepter.
And Julie, I'm teaching STEM in Yukon for 4th and 5th graders, and have helped organize the EdCamps in OKC the last 2 years, and then we helped in Tulsa a couple months ago, and then just want to basically help anybody else that wants to put one on. So we just had a meeting last night, a hangout with Tony Stappington and some of his team at Broken Arrow, and I loved his description because he had never heard of EdCamp before. He went to Tulsa and he said, "This is the best professional development I've ever been to. This is the way professional development should be. I want this, to be in Broken Arrow." So I really feel like this is a movement, and it's one of the best ways we can invest our time as educators outside of teaching kids to, help educators connect to each other and, just be able to learn, and not just in the day of the event, but on an ongoing basis. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. What about you? What do you do for Woodward? You're with Woodward Schools?
Yes, I am. And I just recently, probably the past 2 or 3 months, Kyle has promoted me to integration specialist.
Awesome.
Which means I've got two certifications so far in MAC. I got it in integration, and then I've got it in troubleshooting, and that's what he wants. That's what we both want. We would like to get it where we've got pretty much more MAC than we do Dell, because we like that operating system the best.
It just works?
Huh?
It just works?
Yeah.
Usually, most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you either like it or you hate it. I used to be completely Samsung and Windows, and I thought everyone that gave in to Mac was stupid, but I obviously drank the juice, and I like Mac a lot. So anyway.
Awesome.
So that's what we're trying to do, is this one-on-one program. I've got the flyer done. I didn't know if the rest of this that's on this list, do you know much about it? I mean, like the list, the marketing channels, do you know how that's going?
That's kind of what I thought we'd talk about tonight, because we've got that Google document with, the great thing about this is, we can have 5 or 10 people show up. You could have 50 people show up.
Okay.
The format of it is such that people should, write the things up on the board that they want to share, that they want to learn, and there should be good conversations that come from it. So if we want to, we can kind of go through those lists of needs and kind of talk about where we're at, and most importantly, I guess, try to answer any questions that you have. I really hope I'm going to be able to come. There's a group that does, there's several groups that are doing them now, but they're doing Google Education Summits, and there's one in Richardson, Texas next week, and I've been kind of on the waiting list to go, and I really don't think I'm going to go at this point. So I think there's a high probability that I'll be able to come out there. So,
okay.
But
to see you. I know Kyle's excited. We're all excited. So I hope you can make it.
Right, yeah. And I think, one of the things we want to do too is share with folks, ways to get this organized, and we can pull this off for next week. The more time that we have, the more we can kind of get the word out to let people know about it. But it's great that you guys are doing it, and I think it's super exciting for Kyle's new position and his role with technology, and just lots of good things going on there in Woodward. So it's great that you guys are bringing EdCamp, because I think it's, for those that come, hopefully it'll be a very positive experience that they'll say, when's the next one? When can I do this again? So.
And the answer will be in Broken Arrow.
That's right, yeah. Unless somebody sends us another email and says, hey, we're going to do something in 2 weeks. Help us out.
Or in Wichita. When's EdCamp Kansas?
Wichita is on Friday, and it's the only reason I can remember it. Friday, the 13th of June. So,
okay, so shortly after.
Yeah, so my wife and I are going to actually drive up for that. So, yeah, that's the same week.
Awesome.
Okay, so Julie, you've got a marketing.
The needs that are on this list, I can just go through because no one's really touched on them, or Do you know?
I don't think so. I think that we're it. You're it. I guess Christy is gonna help, but it didn't sound like she was gonna plan to join the hangout tonight.
Right.
So I think whatever you can do. I mean, the ways that we've done this with an organizing team before has just been to try to delegate out as best we can, the different responsibilities. But I would expect based on what the registration here, I mean, I would guess 20 to 30, something like that. It's gonna be a small event. So
Okay.
the more we can get the word out, here in advance, the better. But it is what it is as far as the schedule and people's availability. But one thing you might consider doing is just trying to contact your newspaper or your radio, because I don't know. Sometimes I think we overvalue social media when we're in it so much, but there's a lot of value in just if you can get the word out with your local media. Hey, there's Tammy.
Hi.
Sorry. Hello, Tammy. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, good. Well, I'm Wes Fryer. There's Toby.
Hi, I'm Toby. How are you?
Hi.
And Tammy, are you with instructional technology as well in Woodward, or what do you do?
I'm actually the IT secretary.
Okay, great.
So I do a little bit of everything. Whatever Kyle assigns, I do.
Special projects as assigned.
Yes.
That's right, that umbrella. Okay. Well, we really just have started and are just kind of going to, there's a Google document, and if you don't see that on your Hangout, over on the side, you may see a Google Drive triangle, and if you click on that, hopefully it'll pull up the document that basically just has a few notes about needs and things like that. So, before we even go down there, I guess maybe we could just say what questions, burning questions do you have, or Julie, do you have that you want to ask, and then we can just kind of go down those maybe and see what we can answer, and just try to do the best we can to make plans for success. Because the bottom line to this usually is we've got a schedule, you've got a networking time with a board of some kind, either butcher paper, or at Broken Arrow they're actually going to use the windows in the media room or the library, which I think will be kind of
awesome.
Fun with the use of V-pins. Yeah. You can have a whiteboard, or you can use sticky notes, but there's a place where people will share ideas. You'll build a board of things that people want to talk about, and then we'll break up into sessions and go to those rooms, and hopefully there's going to be open internet access for people to use their devices, and if there are projectors, that's a bonus. It doesn't have to be, because these are really conversations. Nobody should get out a PowerPoint and take over a session with a lecture. It's really meant to be conversations, but having the rooms that maybe have some AV and that definitely have Wi-Fi, and having that schedule, if you're going to print something, you could print some copies of that schedule, but having the website and everything like that, people should be able to refer to that. But what questions do you all have? Since this is kind of the first time we've gotten together to chat about this. And if the wind is too strong on my mic, I don't even know how well this is doing. Let me know and I can mute.
You're fine.
It sounds fine, Wes.
Okay.
Actually, what you just kind of just went over answered a lot of mine. But one thing on the Wi-Fi, should we try to get that? Because we are doing this at the VOTEC, and this is kind of like you have to fill out a form and then get a text message. Should we see if there's a way to get that earlier to them?
Yes, I would strongly encourage you, because one of the things that can be a stumbling block is if Wi-Fi is not working, slow, or if it's heavily filtered, which a lot of times it is. So what we've done in Oklahoma City and then in Yukon was to ask them to give us a network that they could create that would be less filtered than the standard student network and even guest guest network. So what they did in both those cases was basically they set up a network for us to connect to, and they block porn, but Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they had all of that stuff opened up. So I would say that would be ideal, and we can try and navigate whatever we have that day, but that would definitely be a very good thing to do if you can arrange for them to at least have the network open more. Ideally having it where it's open, where people can just select, EdCamp or EdcampNWOK or whatever they want to call it.
Some kind of easy access point.
Because the more hoops people have to go through, but again, we're not going to be talking about 200 people either. So, but the fewer hoops people can go through, the better. And that could be another sheet. We don't want to obviously promote tons of paper printing, but if you end up, having some name tags for registration actually is a really good thing, to just have some, hi, my name is, with some Sharpies that people can write their name and maybe write their Twitter on. But then if you've got a sheet that says, here's how you get on Wi-Fi, and then if you've got the schedule, that's pretty good. You
can do that right at registration too. I've been to several ed camps where you log on, or you walk in rather, and you say, hi, I'm Toby, I'm here for EdCamp, and they say, hey, good morning, here's how you get on Wi-Fi. It's as important as oxygen at these things. It's just that important.
Yeah, in terms of registration, we've got 17 registered, and the Eventbrite is great. It's free. Whenever you do a free event, I've done paid events on my own too, where they take a percent. I love it. But for free events like this, there's no charge, and I can go ahead and share the event with each of you. And if I'm there, they have a free app called Check-In that you can have on an iPhone or an iPad, and it is very slick, where you can look people up by their first or last name, just check them in electronically on the device. But you can also be old school, and this is going to be small, so the site makes a PDF of everybody's name. We haven't printed anybody's name tag at OKC. In Tulsa, they were a little fancier, with printed name tags. I'd say, be easy. Just get some hi, my name is at Walmart with some pins. Yeah. Don't worry about that.
That's a good thing.
But that way, we have a guesstimate of how many people are going to be there, and really that's probably one of the important things tonight too, is to talk about maybe how many rooms. And Toby, would you think 4 based on a 20 to 30 ed camp, something like that?
I would say, if let's just say that you get 50 people there, and which would be amazing. I know it's a short turnaround time, but let's just say that your number spikes to 50. 4 rooms is going to be plenty for ed camp, and I've actually seen a number of ed camps that were smaller only go for the morning or only have 3 sessions, and that's cool too. It really depends on what you guys want to do. I think I couldn't make it, but I followed them on Twitter. EdCamp Southern Illinois, I knew a handful of people who were going to that. It was a relatively small ed camp, and they had basically, it was morning sessions, so you show up at 8, and I think they started the first one at 8:45 or so, after they had a donut or a bagel, and then they just went right in, 9 o'clock session, 10 o'clock session, 11 o'clock session, and they broke for the day. If you want to do something short, that's fantastic, especially being your first one, and especially as it's, that the date is coming up quickly. It's really up to you about how you want that day to go. If you want, I would go minimalist. I like that really short, easy to manage. Get some either butcher paper, which is cheap, or if you have some of those big Post-it notes laying around, those are handy too for writing down sessions. Or for this, if you just want to get sticky notes and you want to throw them on a whiteboard, or even use a whiteboard, in a classroom, that's fantastic too. You could take a picture of that, tweet it out, and say, here's the schedule for the day. You just want something that people can refer to quickly, go find another conversation that they want to have, and move on.
The schedule, I might say, Toby, that I put in there for them, which is just a proposal, but it does have 3 sessions in the morning. So it was one of the things at OKC we talked about, was not doing so much networking time in the morning, but really just the kickoff and getting into it. So it's basically, saying registration 8 to 8:45, a 30-minute kickoff, and then session 1 starts at 9:15, and doing 45-minute sessions, 1, 2, and 3. So
with 40 people, that's going to be perfect. You don't really need a lot of time, but you'll want some time to get people together and talking. I was just looking at the area. When we start pushing this out, on Twitter, and you guys talk with. Oh shoot! It's been a while since I've listened to radio out near Woodward. Push it out on your stations there. I saw some buy-side people had registered on Eventbrite.
Yeah, Kyle's got he's got a gentleman that's head of something, and I don't remember everything, but he was going to push it out to all of the principals and superintendents around us.
Good. Hit that OklaEd hashtag, throw that on there. We'll start pushing it on Twitter. I didn't see anybody from Clinton register yet. I don't know if they're doing anything.
There's one.
Okay, super. But they love coming to Oklahoma City, and they have that big August event. So this would help. If you can get some of those people up there and start kind of cross-pollinating for their big event that they have out in August, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, Kyle's been in talk with Clinton. We've actually gone to Clinton a couple of times with teachers.
Good.
And Annie Beck is coming.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
From Clinton.
Awesome.
Anne's wonderful. She's great.
I'm going to move a little bit out of the sun.
So,
super. And she's good. And
So is Ann going to come to the EdCamp, or is she's coming separately on another thing?
no, she's coming to the EdCamp. She signed up for that.
That's great. That's great. Well, it is helpful and good, having some folks who've been to these things before, because they're really designed as conversations, and so having some different people that are in sessions to kind of help set that tone and just get people talking and things like that is great.
That's the whole idea. I know a lot of people, when it's their first time, they go and they sit and they expect someone to tell them what's going on. And the whole idea behind these things is that it's a conversation. That the person leading the conversation or facilitating the conversation is just doing that. We look at studies that show that good teachers only talk for a low percentage amount of time, and it's the same thing with a facilitator. Really, it should be the room talking and asking ideas, and one of those things where you don't shut down other people's ideas. And if you disagree, great, that's fantastic. That's part of it. But
So
again,
this is like a giant round table, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. I mean, it'll vary. It'll vary what kind of the mood is and the spirit, but generally that's it. To have multiple people and let everybody feel invited to participate, but also not to feel like you're coerced. I mean, it's fine when people want to be there and listen and not participate, but it's not about one person dominating for sure. It's about the room is smarter than any one individual, and so the more we can get people to share and chime in, the better. Now, if you want to get some kind of refreshments, if that's something the district could provide, or you want to get a local grocery store or restaurant or something like that, that's kind of a bonus. We've done some just coffee, orange juice, and we actually have gotten a vendor to do a little Chick-fil-A, but that's totally not required. But it's nice, food's always nice. But some folks at EdCamps will get into prizes and stuff like that. So, if you go to Sonic and say, hey, could you give us a few gift cards, sometimes at registration you'll have people get their name tag. We just had them write on a 3x5 note card their name, dumped it in a hat, and then, we did some drawing. So I think Christy may have sent a few things for drawings. I'm not that big on drawings. Some people are fanatical about it. They think it's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that many people, just hand those water bottles out.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody wins.
She's sent, I think, 100 water bottles, and she's getting some flash drives.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, maybe you'll have some for next time, too.
Well, I was going to ask you on this logo, so are these water bottles already have the logo on them?
Yes, they have the OTA logo on them.
Oh,
okay, so we don't need to worry about this optional logo, correct?
No, I would. At this point, I wouldn't worry about a logo and whatever, because the Apple we got is the EdCamp official sort of logo, and we're good to use it. And yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah,
Now,
our thing is just getting the word out, because I actually stopped some of my teachers this morning when we were in the building working and mentioned it to them, and they were like, so what is it?
right,
We just don't know what it is out here.
Yeah.
right.
You know, none of us have ever been to one.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tammy. The quick answer is it's the best PD you've never heard of.
Now, there's a video, and I'll forward it. Well, I think I've actually got it on the website under About. Then there's a new one that they put together that's called EdCamp 101, and it's a 2.5 minutes. It's one of these whiteboard animations, you know, where they draw really fast or whatever, and they talk over it. And so it's a good summary. But I would just say, you know, EdCamp is about letting educators network to share good ideas. You know, a lot of those ideas tend to be about technology, but they're not. You know, nothing says you have to talk technology, and it's really about networking and, you know, self-directed learning, self-directed professional development. So.
Okay.
And we'll talk, and you know, if I'm there, I'll be happy to do as little or as much as you want me to. But you know, one of the things we usually do at the beginning when we welcome people is to tell them to vote with their feet. You know, if you're not wanting, you know, you're not getting a lot out of this, or you just want to go check something else out, go. You're not locked in. This isn't gonna, you know, damage somebody's ego. Just, you know, check stuff out if you want to float, you know, in between the rooms. You know, basically we want people to feel free to self-direct and find something that's gonna suit their needs. So.
Okay.
So is this EdCamp 101, is that on YouTube? Like if I wanted to see that?
You can search it. I just did.
Well, you can go to YouTube. The website that I set up that's got the registration stuff is the nw.edcampok.org. So for northwest.edcampok.org, and that, anyways, it's got some on the About page. It's got, you know, a few different videos, but that's a new one that I just found in the last couple weeks. It's a pretty good attempted explanation.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get the word out a little bit more on Facebook and our email, and try to get some more of our teachers. They're slowly starting to come aboard, and definitely
push them to the Eventbrite, because a couple reasons. One, it just gives us an idea, you know, as far as who's the numbers, but then it's really good to have those emails and be able to, you know, let them know about when something else is happening, or, you know, because Eventbrite does let us message them and send that out. So, Julie, if you could email me the flyer that you did, I will go ahead and post that on the website tonight, and then whatever else we want to send to people, I'll send them a link to the flyer and encourage them to print it and share it, and then also let them know about the schedule. There was an error when you registered that it went to the Broken Arrow schedule, so I did get an email about that and got that fixed. But
it's an encourager. Drive across the state.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the Wi-Fi is probably your main thing, you know, in designating your rooms. We can go.
Kyle has 4 rooms.
Okay, that's great. Do you know what those room numbers are?
No, I don't, but I can go out. I can get with him tomorrow and Tony.
Okay. Yeah, if you could get those room numbers, then what we could do is we've got a Google spreadsheet we've used where basically it's an electronic version of what we write up on butcher paper. But that would be my recommendation for as small as this is going to be, and just because it works. You know, the first time we did it, Toby assured us it would work, and I was thinking, this seems a lot less, you know, premeditated than we usually do, and it's worked great. So just having a space in mind where we're gonna gather, where you can put some butcher paper up on the walls and have some markers available, and then just kind of make some grids for those 5 sessions. Is there a place that you could? We've got on the schedule what's called an app smackdown, which is just different people doing a quick share of an app that they use with students or they find helpful for themselves for personal productivity. Is there one of those rooms that'll be better suited for that, or where do you think we could do that after lunch? Because that's kind of what we have on the schedule, is to come together and have an app share.
Well, actually, we're going to be in their big auditorium, so that would probably be the best place, I would think.
Okay. And the Wi-Fi and everything like that should be good there?
Yeah, that's where, Julie, that's where you did the Apple training.
Okay, so we have one room, not four?
No, we have 4 rooms, but that big room is probably where we could do that app.
No, it is perfect. That's good. Yeah.
That's where you probably want to have your gather, and we'll tell you about the day and that kind of stuff. You want to have it in that big room, and then say we'll just reconvene after our sessions here this morning, and and talk about some apps that we find are helpful, and or whatever. And you can break up the app smackdown into a takeaway smackdown. It can be 20 minutes of let's talk about really cool apps, and let's talk 15-20 minutes about what you learned today, or what are you taking away today. What can you do this summer before you get back in the classroom for the fall, or who wants to go to another one of these things, that kind of thing. So
right. Yeah. And I will find out for sure, I think by tomorrow, whether I'm doing this deal or not, and I'll be happy to take the lead or just advise or whatever on these pieces as far as the emceeing. Usually we kind of designated somebody to serve as an MC for the app smackdown, and whoever wants to do, you're welcome. But
Julie and I are just tagging along, I think.
Okay, all right. Well, I really hope I can come. I think I'm going to be able to. So, so are the 4 rooms in addition to the big auditorium, or does that big auditorium count as one of the rooms?
Actually, I think the big auditorium may count as 2 of the rooms, but I'm going to have to double check that.
With that many people, it should be fine. You just break into corners and have a discussion, and it might be a beauty where you guys can cross-pollinate conversations. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Julie will send me the flyer. Tammy's going to get the room numbers. And then, Tammy, you're going to check on the Wi-Fi as well.
Yeah, I'll get with Kyle and Tony and see about getting that all set up.
Okay. And then, let's see, does one of you want to get name tags and pens, or...
Yeah, I'll take care of the name tags and the sign-up sheet, and Julie and I will get it done. We just needed to make sure that we knew what we were doing.
Right.
Yes.
And then,
sorry, go ahead.
I've actually got about 5% left on my laptop, so we may I do see a plug over here across the way.
Is this helpful, guys? I mean, do you guys feel better about what you're doing now?
We'll feel a lot better when it gets done.
Yeah.
When it's over.
That's you can always just hit me up on the Twitter or send me an email or something. I'll be happy to help if I can. I hate that I can't make it on the 10th, but I think being a small venue will be fine. In that big auditorium, is there a big whiteboard or something? Up the front?
Yes, he has a lot of them that are spread out across the campus.
I found a plug. I'm good.
Okay, good. I was going to say, if you want to go even more minimalist, and you have something like just a whiteboard in that big auditorium, and you want to grid your rooms up there, that's perfectly fine too. It's just one of those things where this is as intense as you want it to be.
Right.
So. Right.
Well, and generally with a lot of people, which always happens, not having experienced this, people need encouragement as far as writing stuff down, and because they don't have to be the expert about that. I mean, ideally, you'll have somebody, you'll have folks with some knowledge on the topic, but you know, sometimes people feel intimidated to put stuff up there. So it's good just to kind of ask people things that they're interested in and things that they're doing, and then encourage them to put those up there, or even put the session up there. But we'll just kind of see, because this is going to be really small. So it's
I like to encourage people just to say, I have a question about moving one-on-one, or I've heard about flipping the classroom. What does that mean? And that's a perfect session right there. You just write that down on your grid, and people show up and go, well, I've heard about it, and you'll have one person who's tried it and go, oh, well, it worked for me, or it didn't work for me, and I hate it, or I loved it and my kids loved it, or I loved it, my kids hated it, and so you just start that conversation, and it's so fantastic to watch that grow, and then hopefully you make those connections that you can maintain via social media or whatever.
I've never gone to the Rocks and Sucks one, but I wonder if that's one Anna will lead. I'm really glad Anna's going to be there. So, Kobe, you've kind of taken the lead on that one a couple times, haven't you?
Yeah, Rocks and Sucks. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Rocks and Sucks. I've been in some great ones. I've been in some not super ones. But basically, guys, the idea behind Rocks and Sucks is you say, okay, we have there's a great, I think it's, oh shoot, who did it? Somebody in California came up with a list of topics for what sucks in education and what rocks in education. So you just throw out something like homework, and you have 2 minutes to talk, and the room will divide itself, and people will move to one side of the room, and they'll say, I hate homework because it takes time away from family time and events. And you have people say, but it's the time when kids can dive in to the topic on their own and work things out for themselves and then bring questions back in. So it's the whole idea, you just have these different topics that you cover and go, this rocks in education or this sucks.
But you're giving them that time to be able to talk. And then share, too. I mean, so they're talking separately and then sharing.
If you have a really small group, you could even do that in the first thing in the morning, just to get people up and talking. So that might be fun. Like a breaker, icebreaker.
Okay. Good.
Well.
What about a meetup? Is there a place that we might want to do a meetup the night before? Like somewhere where there might be maybe some drinks and appetizers, or it could be a restaurant, but probably somewhere that has drinks.
Right.
That usually that's been something. Sometimes we've done those. We've always done them before, and then the after ones. Hey, there's my son.
The only restaurant I know about in Woodward, I hope it's still there. Do you still have a Mr. Burger?
Mr. Burger, no.
How long has it been?
Okay.
How long has it been since you've been there?
It's been a while. Maybe that's out in Guyman.
I've been here 25 years and I've never heard of Mr. Burger.
Do what?
I said, I've been here 25 years and I've never heard of that one.
Okay, well, it's out in Guyman then.
He's thinking of another Western Oklahoma destination. Well, is there a place that we could have a meetup, the night before? I mean, we don't want like a biker bar. We're all gonna have to have tattoos to make it in, probably. But I mean, who knows? That may be local culture. So.
Right.
Romero's.
There's Ramiro's. So yeah.
Romero's is a place that our teachers visit frequently.
Yeah.
Okay. We call ours Spanish Club when they've got together. It's time for Spanish Club in the evening.
But they have a back room and there's some privacy. I think we can probably find. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you maybe call them and see if you could reserve it? That'd be great. Okay, so Romero's, we'll call that the pre-EdCamp tweet up, and should we say like 7 o'clock maybe, or what time you think?
7's fine.
Yeah, 7's good.
And what's the date? Tell me the date again.
So that'll be the 9th. That would be Thursday the 9th, prior, and I think that'll work. I'm gonna find out if Ann. Kobe, does Ann live here in the city, or does she live in Clinton? She lives in Clinton.
In fact, she lives in Clinton, I think.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking carpool. I'll have to find out if anybody else is going. Okay, so yeah, we could you do that on the 9th early. So I'll send that out to people too, as far as the email. Is there anything else you can think of that we should tell people?
I have a quick question, Wes. The date for EdCamp NWOK is the June 10th. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Isn't that right?
Okay. All right. You just said Friday, so.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry. Okay, no. Yeah, the 9th. The 9th. The Monday night. The 9th would be.
Yeah.
I was conflating Friday the 13th for EdCamp Kansas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I could make the pre-tweet up, but I can't make the day, so I'd have to leave Stillwater, drive to Woodward.
4-day later tweet up if you.
Yeah, that's right.
In Woodward, 4 days later you can come to Romero. So.
Okay, great.
Anything else you all can think of that we need to send to?
It's only a 2-hour drive up here from Stillwater.
Is it really?
That's not bad.
My daughter's in Stillwater. They can make it here in 2 hours.
What about parking? Is that all easy as far as the facility and?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's all good.
They've got a huge parking lot.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we need a map? Is it going to be easy enough to find with signs and whatnot? We don't need to worry about that.
No.
Julie's laughing. That's what good.
Well, I mean,
Really not that
You need a
big.
map.
Okay. Put a sign on the front door, say "Welcome EdCampers," and call it good.
Yeah, I mean that probably is.
I mean, the VOTEC's kind of out by itself, but I mean, those that are already signed up pretty well know where it's at. They've been out here before. I mean, we've got people from VISI.
The number one thing I would just think to try to, as hard as you can to do, is to get that Wi-Fi open. Just because I know that some of the tech centers have a pretty locked down Wi-Fi, and that'll make it frustrating. So if you and Kyle can pull whatever strings you can, I think that everything else can kind of fall into place and work. But that's one of those things that if the powers that be haven't opened that up and don't want to, there's really not much other than get out our own hotspots, which obviously we can do. But
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is,
Kyle.
if you guys can, I know you're going to email the link to the flyer to Wes, but if you can tweet it, or send it to me.
I'll put it on the website on the
Okay, great. Yeah,
EdCamp
that's
website,
super.
and then we can tweet that link and people can download it right from there. So
That's fantastic. Because I'll start pushing that out every day or every couple days, and
when Toby speaks, people listen. So.
all well.
That's right.
I think I've
the
been
12
muted more
followers
than anybody else, so I'm proud of that. But you'll find that this thing will grow a little bit once it starts hitting those circles, and people will start looking at their calendar and go, well, heck, I'm out of school. I can make it up to Woodward on the 10th.
And the great thing is, that's why this is a movement. The more people hear about this, it's such a doable thing because it doesn't require, we literally can put it together in 2 weeks. It doesn't require a ton. As the numbers grow, there's a little bit more logistics and stuff like that to think about. They're obviously going to be open. We've had to think, on Saturdays we have to think about having a custodian on duty that's not normally there and stuff like that. But it's a regular weekday, so that's not going to be a deal. So, any other questions that you all can think of?
I think that's it.
I think
We'll
I'm
get
good.
on
Awesome.
Okay, awesome.
Well, holler if you need anything else.
Yeah, I think I sent you my cell number too. Don't hesitate to text me. I'm, generally okay with tweets and email, but sometimes texting you'll get me for sure right away.
Well, thank you, Beth. Thank you, Toby. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, you bet, y'all.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll hope to see you next week.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.